Hey guys, it's Angie. Hope you're having a great day. I thought it was high time that I put out my labor and delivery story. I know so many mommies do this and I really enjoy watching them, so I thought I would hopefully not make this too long because I don't really think it needs to be like a 15-minute video, but thought I would let you guys know that yes, I did have my baby girl. I actually had her a week early and her name is Grace Marie. So let's go back. She was born on August 24th. The last video that I did was my week 38 pregnancy update, and that I actually filmed that on Saturday. I would have been 39 weeks that Monday. So I'm just gonna recap kind of that weekend for you guys. That day, husband and I went to a car show, walked around all day. The next day on Sunday, we did our normal thing. We went to the gym together and I lifted my back. When I got home from the gym, I noticed I was having back pain and I thought to myself, oh, I must have really probably overdid it at the gym. No, I was in back labor, apparently. I didn't really realize I was in back labor until around 7 o'clock that evening. I kept on having these pains across my stomach and I thought to myself, this is my first baby. I have no idea. Am I really having contractions? Yes, I've been having contractions apparently for weeks. Everyone's tolerance for pain is much different. So I was having contractions for actually a few weeks. I didn't really realize it. So that evening around 7, started having a lot more pain, and I called my mom and I was like, I think I'm having some contractions, like from real contractions. They're about 10 minutes apart at this point. She's like, oh, okay, well, husband and I were, well, whatever, doctor said unless they're 5 minutes apart, don't come in. So my husband went to bed and they persisted. 11 o'clock, I woke him up and I was like, Jimmy, I really think we should start timing these suckers. So that's what we did, started timing them. And around 12:30, I actually called my OB and I said, I think I'm having contractions. And he said, unless they are 5 minutes apart and 60 seconds long, do not come into the hospital. Okay. So my husband and I are literally pacing through our neighborhood outside because I'm in a lot of pain at this point. And around 1:30, I think 1 o'clock in the morning, we actually went to the hospital because I was in a great deal of pain. They were not 60 seconds, but they were about 40 seconds in length, and it sucked. So went to the hospital, hooked me up, didn't actually admit me, but they wanted to, monitor me. This is my first baby. I was 3 centimeters at that point, monitored me for 2 hours, and they actually dissipated. And they sent me home. 5 o'clock in the morning, I go home, and something's not right. And this is gonna be a lot of TMI, so I should probably forewarn you, TMI. Something's not right. My husband actually went downstairs on the couch to lay down because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna sleep well, why don't you just go downstairs? That's what he did. He went downstairs and I don't know if it was my bloody show or if it was what was happening, but I started bleeding like a mofo. And it was bad and I was in a lot of pain. And I say a lot of pain. I broke my ankle before and passed out from it. This was way worst pain of my life. I started screaming for my husband at this point. Something's wrong. Basically, the baby was bearing down. She was coming. She was getting ready to come. She was really bearing down at this point. They were not, contractions were not, they were less than 5 minutes apart at this point. And he actually put me in the bathtub to try to relax me. I swear to God, I thought I was gonna have the baby in the bathtub. It's about 7:30 at this point. My husband, I call my mother, and my husband is on the phone with my mother, and she's screaming, get her to the hospital. So going back, whenever my husband and I first went to the hospital, he said to me, this is not like the movies at all. This is not like the movies. And the second time we went to the hospital, it was straight up like a movie. He literally almost had to carry me. We live in a 3-story townhouse. He almost had to carry me down the staircase. It was so bad. I kind of blacked out a lot of it, to be honest with you guys. I remember getting in the car. I remember screaming for most of the car trip. He had his 4-ways on. We're going, through traffic. And we get to the hospital, and I do remember a nice gentleman helping us me into a wheelchair because it was so bad. Finally wheeled me upstairs after I was in the ER sitting there looking like a nutcase, because I really did look like a nutcase at this point because I'm in so much pain. And I get upstairs, probably 4 or 5 nurses come in, as well as 2 medical, people that were doctors that were on training, and they check me, and I'm 8 centimeters dilated within 3 hours of leaving the hospital the first time. the 8 centimeters dilated. I start screaming, "You sent me home. I want drugs. I want drugs." I'm screaming at this point, straight up screaming. And I'm like, "You guys sent me home. You're getting me drugs now." And my husband, of course at that time was trying to keep me as calm as possible. He's not on basically any sleep, and I'm in a crap ton of pain. And so they all were kind of looking at each other like, that may not happen. That may not happen. And I'm like, "You're getting me drugs now." So I actually tested positive for that stress groupie. I'll write it down here. It's a type of, it's a test that all pregnant women get at 36 weeks. And so at that point, I needed to have penicillin before I had the baby because it was very, very important. So it was very important that I actually had the epidural to slow things down so that I could have the penicillin for the baby. My mother actually rushes in at this point. My parents live about 45 minutes away, but they had already actually been on their way. Mom rushes in. She's, I'm screaming. They admit me into the hospital. They put me in my big room, yelling, trying to calm me down. It's not good. It was not fun. Whoever says that labor is like this beautiful, gorgeous thing lies. They lie. I should probably mention that. The end is beautiful whenever she's here, but during freaking sucks. So I'm not trying to scare people either. Had the epidural. I did have the epidural at that point, thank God. About 30 minutes after coming into the hospital, I was very lucky I didn't have to wait a long time for him. And at that point, labor did slow down. I had to wait about 4 hours, and then they checked me. My water did not break at any point, so they had to break my water, and then we started pushing. 45 minutes later, Gracie Marie came. And Jimmy was actually in the room the entire time, and I kind of didn't think he was going to be, but he was a champ, and he was in there the whole time with me. It was awesome. And he did have to sit down at one point, especially when she came out, because I did look over, and he was looking a little blue, a little white in the face. But yeah, she's here, and it's amazing. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. I thought that would probably be the best thing possible for me. I was very lucky that I was able to stay in the hospital for 2 days, and learned a lot from the nurses. I've had a whole lot of visitors, and she's here. So Gracie was 6 pounds 12 ounces when she was born. Before leaving the hospital, she was 6 pounds 6 ounces, and then a week and a half later, after it was her second baby appointment, she was already 6 pounds 15 ounces. So that's a good thing. I am pumping. I am not actually breastfeeding, but I am pumping right now. Girlfriends. Gracie is 3 weeks, 2 days old, and she's doing really well. We're having a lot of fussy moments, and it's difficult. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not being at work is difficult, and being home all the time is really difficult. Today, just putting on my makeup and sitting here and doing something other than sitting here just putting on my makeup was such a treat for me. I feel like myself, if that makes any sense. It's really hard to not look in the mirror every day and not see the person that you're used to seeing. That sounds absolutely terrible, but it is difficult, and I think that's why putting on my makeup is so important. And I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel much better. So, any new moms out there, I would say, if you have a strong support system, make sure that you're trying to do things that are going to make you feel good. I think that's really, really important. But Grace is doing really, really well. I think she is. I don't really, this is my first baby, probably my only baby. I think I mentioned that before. And the pediatrician said that everything looked great. Everything was perfect, and she was a healthy baby. So I'm not going to wake her right now and bring her into the room because she is sleeping, and I'm going to let her sleep. But I will insert pictures here at the end of course, my baby. And if you ever want to see pictures of her, go to my Instagram. I am loading that up with pictures. She is a doll baby, and my family's all in love, and it's amazing. This is the first grandchild on either side of the family. My sister-in-law is coming to visit this weekend, so it's a lot of really exciting stuff happening, and I'm just so happy that she's here, especially after infertility, and how lucky and blessed we are that she's here. And labor, of course, I feel like I just basically blasted my labor. It sucked. It did suck, but I was really fortunate that it did happen really quickly. You know, I was in the gym and 24 hours later, I was basically in labor. So I'm very, very lucky. I'm very blessed that I had a healthy pregnancy. Although it was difficult for me to get pregnant, I shouldn't bitch and complain too much, and because she's here. And I know there's so many mommies out there, so many. I shouldn't bitch and complain too much because I know there's so many women out there who can't have babies and are having a very hard time getting pregnant. I've thought about going to the fertility center where, you know, that you know, help me get pregnant, and because I want to show her to them, and I think it's really important that I do. But every time I think about it, and I don't want to start crying, I get really teary that I think I'm going to break down whenever I walk in there, which I broke down whenever I was pregnant, so it could happen. So yeah, you know, that's something that I think I really need to do. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling at this point, guys, but I'm really, really happy that she's here, and I'm really blessed. Things are going really well, like I said, and I'm so happy that she's here. I do have off until the middle of November. I'm going to work part-time towards the end of October remotely, just to get acclimated back into work and all that good stuff. But, you know, right now I'm home exclusively with her, which is really odd and awesome all at the same time, but it's really odd too. Not really odd not being at work. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my labor and delivery story. It's kind of short and sweet and to the point. I'm just so happy that she's here. And if you guys want to see pictures of her, like I said, go to my Instagram and I will insert pictures right now of Gracie. Hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. And to all you mommies out there who are trying to get pregnant, you know, I feel your pain, and I don't understand, like I said, in like IVF or anything like that, but I can understand where you're coming from. Hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel for you guys like there was for me, you know, but God always has things in store for people differently. So again, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will be back soon with another one.